In Nevada, anything that goes into the storm drain goes directly to our local waterways, which can pollute Nevada's lakes and rivers. Nevada is the driest state in the nation, and we must work together to preserve our limited water resources for future generations of Nevadans. Here's some waterway wisdom so you can help do your part. Scoop your dog's poop, bag it, and discard it. Clean up yard waste and grass clippings. Wash your car at a car wash or on grass or gravel. Apply pesticides and fertilizers sparingly in your yard. Safely dispose of household chemicals. Clean up leaks and spills. And don't litter. Secure trash in bins. Keep contaminants out of our storm drains. Use waterway wisdom. And remember, only rain should go into the storm drain. Join us in preserving Nevada's waters for future generations by visiting loveenvywaters.com and following us on social media.
This message funded by a grant through the Nevada Department of Transportation, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
On average, 26.8 million Americans become infected with the flu every year. There's been a steady increase in the flu-related hospitalizations over the last 6 weeks in Nevada, and we encourage you to get your flu shot now. It's not too late. It's also not too late to get the latest COVID-19 and RSV vaccines. Contact your healthcare provider to learn more or visit immunizenevada.org. This message, sponsored by Immunize Nevada, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
My son stopped talking to me. He didn't want to leave his room.
I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I just wanted to be alone.
I was really worried about my daughter. She was angry all the time.
I felt so depressed.
I was really worried about my daughter.
I couldn't do anything right. I was always getting yelled at.
My son told me he wanted to hurt himself. I was so scared.
I was feeling hopeless. It was all too much.
We needed help.
We needed help.
We needed help.
We needed help.
I needed help.
I called the Mobile Crisis Response Team, and we met with them that same day.
A crisis team came to my house and helped me talk to my parents about how I was feeling.
I called the Mobile Crisis Response Team. They met with us that day.
I talked to them about how I was feeling, and it really helped.
Sometimes understanding what children are experiencing can be difficult. The Nevada Children's Mobile Crisis Response Team provides mental health intervention and support. Learn more at nocrisis.com.
This message sponsored by the FBI Las Vegas Citizens Academy Alumni Association, a nonprofit organization separate and apart from the FBI in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association.
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone, on its back, in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org. This message is sponsored by the Division of Public and Behavioral Health, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
101.5 FM KDON. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
Hey, let's get back to it here on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on KDON 101.5 FM, the Talk of Las Vegas. Top-rated live show on this station because, well, simply put, I'm awesome. I'm just going to say it.
I agree.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Brad.
Yes, sir.
You're talking to me better than my daughter does.
How old's your daughter?
15.
Makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. That's how it goes. Of course, we've got Brad Gilmore on from Reality of Wrestling. Of course, one of the, if not the top independent promotion in the country. And you can check them out at realityofwrestling.com. You know, if you're down in the Houston area, go down to Texas City, Texas, and check out a card. Or, of course, you can become a member of their YouTube channel for only $4.99. It's Reality of Wrestling. And, you know, of course, you can become a wrestler down there too. They are cranking out some of the best talent in the country. Of course, Brian Keith, one of their recent graduates who just signed on with AEW. And of course, I'm sure you've seen Brian doing his thing. So anything with Reality Wrestling, you can laugh, you can cry, you can become a part, as they like to say in the movies, right?
Yeah, and you know what's so crazy is we moved into a new arena back in maybe October or September. And since then, it's the Walker, Texas Lawyer Arena. And I will tell you, this facility, when anybody stops in and sees it, they're always blown away by it because it is not like any independent promotion or wrestling school that you've ever seen. It's not. I mean, we have it professionally lit. We have, room for 500 people. We just had our largest crowd, and this is meant to be television wrestling, right? Like studio style. So you've been to television studios. They're not the most spacious places in the world. We had north of 500 people here at our last stand Rumble, standing room only at the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena. We sold out 3 weeks in advance of the show, and our next show is on April the 13th with a special guest match between the King of the Indies, Matt Cardona, and Kenny King, who's a Las Vegas resident, and they're going to be in an exhibition match at Reality of Wrestling. And I checked yesterday, we had like 3 tickets left to the show. We're about a month out, so we're doing really well down in Texas City, Texas, as of late. And I'm very impressed by what we're doing. And here's the thing too: is if you come to a Reality Wrestling show, you got to see us in Las Vegas, kind of in a different production setup for us. But if you come to a Reality Wrestling show at the Walker Texas Lawyer Arena, you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to be impressed by the quality that we put out, because Booker, myself, Kevin Bernhardt, our director, Charmel, and so many people put so much time into this. And all of our wrestlers, our entire camera crew, we're training everybody. Everybody's learning. It's not just we're training wrestlers. No, commentary is being trained. Backstage interviewers are being trained. How to do an on-camera is being trained. The lighting guys, the camera guys, the audio, when to cue things. There's so much that goes into a Reality Wrestling show, to where when you walk in, maybe another show, a different indie show, you walk in and the card, starts at 7 and you're just kind of BSing until 6:30, and then you get your gear on and you maybe go over your match a little bit. This is like, as soon as you get there at call time, hey, here's your pre-tape. This is what time we need you. This is what time your meeting is with Booker. This is your match time. This is where you are in the card. This is what we need out of you. Here's the story. This is where you are today. This is where we want to go next month. This is where we're going 3 months down the line. So you have an idea of how to put a match together. It's really unlike anything on the independent circuit, which is why we almost don't even consider ourselves an independent. We're like the AAA of professional wrestling. You come through us, you get your finishing touches before you get called to the show.
Very nice. Very, very nice, Brad.
That was a good infomercial. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. I think I just sold it real well.
I think you did. You just take that video clip and put it up on the website, man. You're done.
Right. I'm finished.
That's for sure. Well, hopefully Matt Cardona is still going to be available after he just got flambéed this last night, by the way.
I saw that. Matt, come on, man. We got to get you down to row. I can't have you scarred up. I can't have you charred up. All right, come on now.
He was put through a flaming table last night at Pro Wrestling Revolver, if you didn't see it. So
by Paul Walter Hauser and Bully Ray.
Yeah.
Dudley. So there you go.
Yeah, not good. So you might want to check around if you want to see that clip. So I want to talk about The Rock.
Got to.
If you don't mind.
Yeah.
The Rock cut another 20-minute promo on SmackDown last night. There is no denying that this man is one of the most talented performers, celebrities on the planet right now. No doubt about it. Is The Rock overshadowing this, though, a little bit? Is he taking too much time? Is he kind of putting Roman Reigns in the background a little bit? Is he making Cody kind of look like a wuss a little bit too much? I'm torn on this because, I love what the guy does. There's no denying that he did his job. But at the same time, there's some people that are saying, he's taking too much time. He's, it's cutting into, other matches. He was using profanity. Why aren't, we can't do that. How are you feeling about some of this stuff from the side of the performers and everybody else at WWE that are kind of like, hey, we're here too?
I think that if anybody who's backstage and maybe who's going to be featured on this WrestleMania card and is worried about the attention that The Rock is soaking up and maybe from them, I don't think they understand the big picture. Because The Rock, as you said, might be the most entertaining person in the history of professional wrestling on the microphone. He's up there, and if you don't think he's number one, he is Mount Rushmore. I don't think there's any denying that. You can go Flair, you can go Dusty, but Rock's name's got to be mentioned as one of the greatest guys on the microphone of all time. Now, I also think heel Rock, that we're getting Hollywood Rock, has been the best thing that he's done for this company in the last, I don't know, since his last run with Cena for the title, right? In my opinion. Everybody is going to be watching WrestleMania this year who would normally watch WrestleMania. So many more people are going to watch WrestleMania because they want to see The Rock wrestle. He's a draw. You know, we say in wrestling, thanks for the house. You see these sellouts? Do you see, the numbers on television? Do you see the social media numbers? They're through the roof, right? Now, is that all due to The Rock? Yeah. Yeah, it is. The sellouts are due to The Rock and WWE has been on fire. Everybody on this WrestleMania card deserves to be there. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. But what I'm saying is he is raising the visibility of this show. There's no doubt about it. He is raising the visibility of this show so that when that time does come on night one, where he's going to be in that main event tag match, and he's going to be on night two. Something's happening where he's going to be on night two. So when this happens, so many more people who wouldn't already be watching are going to be watching, which means more eyeballs are on people for the very first time. So how many more shirts can Rhea Ripley sell? How many more social media followers can the Usos get, for instance? How many people are going to be watching that, Gunther versus Sami Zayn match that particularly might not have just tuned in at all? I understand the complaints, if there are any, but I would like to think that it is a vocal minority. And I get what you're saying too. But The Rock is a special talent. He's one of the biggest draws in the history of pro wrestling, and we don't have him forever, right? This is most likely going to be his last run, if not second to last. He's going to be filming a movie right after WrestleMania wraps. He's going right into production, So I think that we should acknowledge what he's actually doing and something that, by the way, he does not have to do. Does he have to come back? No. So why is he back? He's back because he loves the business. And the only part of this, that what you brought up, that I will agree with is that Roman Reigns does feel a little bit afterthoughty.
Yeah.
He does feel a little after. I've had that feeling too, where he doesn't feel as Roman Reignsy as he once did. And I, the wrestling fan in me, we all probably think this is like, okay, is that intentional? Like, is they trying to set up something? And I still can't figure out what this is about. When The Rock puts up this instead of this, and for the radio listeners, he makes a L with his hand instead of just like the one that the bloodline throws up. Have you thought about this? Have you noticed that?
Yeah. It could
What
be
is
a
that?
loser. It could be a loser.
I think he's going to turn it like that and then shoot Roman with the finger gun and be like, your time's up.
Yeah. It's either that or he's just calling him a loser.
Or he's calling him a loser.
Yeah.
Something's going on because, that's got to be intentional.
Yeah. One of them's turning on the other.
Something has to happen.
One
Well,
of
here's
them's
the
turning
thing.
on the other.
Look, I don't want to book the show, but the main event of night one has to end with Cody and Seth going under. They have to lose that match. You're not going to tease the stipulation of bloodline rules and not give it to us. You're not going to say, and if you don't win, you can never, face for the title again, and not throw every obstacle in his way. So they got to win on night one. So my thing is, what happens night two? Where does The Rock come into play in night two when it's bloodline rules? Does he start doing something and then Roman shoves him off? And then, I don't know, something's going to happen, but they got to lose on night one, Cody and Seth.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's how that's going to go. And I have a feeling, what I'm wondering is, do they, Roman and Rock, win night one and they cost Seth the world championship with a cash in from Damian Priest, that they beat him up that bad?
I like that. So you think, wait a minute. Are you saying that on night one, Seth loses the title at the end of the night?
Mm-hmm. I am.
Wow. I have not even considered that. That's kind of good. That's fun. So then you would think night two, the world title match would be Drew and... Do you think they do the world title match on night two? Or do they do it on night... They can't do it on night one. He can't wrestle in the same night, can he? I don't know. I don't know how they're going to structure that.
No, they either Seth's out or they make it a triple threat.
Interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Well,
because Rock said he's going to cost him the title.
He did.
He said it a couple of times. So somehow Rock is going to cost him the title. So I have a feeling that there's going to be a cash in.
Cash in's a good way to do it. Beat the hell out of him and then cash in.
Mm-hmm. So you just have a massive, chaotic night at the end of night one, where not only do they win, but Seth loses the title at the same time.
And you know what? I will tell you, man, Damian Priest, I would like him as a world champion.
I would
That
too.
guy's put in the best run of his career in the last year. Best run he's ever had.
You know, and I always liked the guy, even when he was in Ring of Honor as Punishment Martinez. There was something really special about the guy. And, you know, when he was doing the whole babyface run here in WWE, I was like, why are you guys making him a babyface and having him do babyface moves? It wasn't working. And then when they made him a bad guy, I'm like, thank you. Thank God.
But, you know, they made him a bad guy. They made him a bad guy, but it still wasn't clicking until the alignment with Edge. And then the Judgment Day, when they kicked Edge out of the group, I thought, oh, well, this is the end. This is about to be the mid-card group of the century. Like, they have no star power at the level of Edge anymore, right? And boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. You know, him and Finn and Rhea and Dom, and now JD's getting a little rub from it, but they've all had the best runs of their careers. Each one of them. I mean, Finn's never been more important. Even I'm putting this over when he won the title for a day or whatever it was. Rhea's a bona fide megastar, and I think one of a couple of women who can claim that in all of professional wrestling. And then Dominic, biggest heel in the world.
Yep.
I mean, who gets a bigger reaction than Dominic? He's got the best gimmick ever, you know, because the people want to boo him just because they want to boo him loud because that's what you do. So Damian Priest, to go back to it as a world champion, I would love to see him have a world champion run.
Yeah, and make it a serious run too. I mean, and then you got Drew, of course, who's been just on an absolute roll.
Best work of his career too.
Oh, just unbelievable.
I will say with Drew, it's the best character he's ever portrayed.
Yeah,
because Drew's always been good in the ring, especially when he came back and did the Rumble win in 2020 and all that. But as far as a character goes, this is the most interesting he's ever been, like by far. Most entertaining and interesting.
Oh my God, I just thought of something too. Could you imagine if CM Punk would cross if that match, let's just say that match happens. Let's just say that Drew ends up wrestling Priest and CM Punk costs Drew McIntyre the championship.
That'd be good. That'd be good, man. Because
somebody
I don't know what his physical ability is right now, but he's got to be involved in the show somehow.
He could hit him with something, couldn't he? He's got a good arm.
He's got one. He got one at least right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or, you know, or it's the old pull the foot, you know what I mean? Or something, something simple. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see. That's why, yes, I am excited for WrestleMania. How can you not be?
Right.
This is going to be the biggest. Are you going to be there? Are you going?
Unfortunately, I'm not.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'll enjoy it for the both of us.
Yeah. They had a limited amount of press credentials.
Yeah.
Very limited. So, yeah.
Well, and you know why? Because The Rock's on the card.
Yeah. Thanks, Rock. Never mind. More grudge match for me and Dwayne. Yeah.
Wait, are you not a Rock fan?
No, I am a Rock fan. No, I just kind of had a problem at the beginning with how all this happened in the first place. I just think the way he kind of slid into this and got into the story, I felt like he kind of tried to interrupt it. And it's kind of hard to explain like right off the top of my head because I've gone through this story about 18 times. But I just felt like, you know, he stuck his nose in and said, hey, you know what, we're just gonna do me and Roman, when everybody wanted Cody and Roman, and we were planning for this for 2 years, and then all of a sudden it was, hey, we're going to do this instead out of the blue. And to their credit, they changed course after they realized this isn't what the people wanted. And, and then they had that promo where he did the thing where, well, Cody didn't deserve it. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And I hated that promo. That was the one promo of all this that I was sitting there saying to myself, this doesn't fit. The rest of it was okay. I think that they did a nice job rewriting everything. But that one, when they did that, I said, no, what did Cody lost like 2 matches all year, and one was a tag match. So what are you talking about? So I just felt like it was a really weird way to go about doing things after you've been building a story for 2 years, that The Rock shows up, gets his contract with TKO, and all of a sudden everything gets blown to shreds. So
no, I get it. I mean, I guess though, if you're The Rock, it's just one of those timing things, right? Like, if you're The Rock and everyone's been telling you for 4 or 5 years, the only match we want to see is Rock versus Roman, and then you're like, okay, let's do it. Like, I'm ready. Let's freaking do it. WrestleMania 40, biggest main event of all time. But there's this Cody Rhodes story that went unfinished. Like, the thing is, if they would have taken the title off of I just wonder if they took the title off of Roman at 39, would the interest for Roman Rock still be there? Was the interest with him as the champion? And then I don't know. There's so many things you could play what if all over, but I love that The Rock is here because I'm just such a big fan of The Rock. He's on my Mount Rushmore. And growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, when there was no one bigger than Dwayne Johnson for me, it's fun to see. And, that I think I may have told this story. I told the story on the show where I met The Rock last year. Did I tell that story?
Yeah.
And so to meet the man and shake his hand, and for him to be so gracious, it's great to see him back in pro wrestling, man. I've always wanted to see him wrestle live, and so I'm going to get that opportunity. And who would have thought in 3 years' time I would have seen Stone Cold and The Rock wrestle at WrestleMania? This is insane.
That is pretty ridiculous. Well, I'm still Mandy beat Hogan at 18, so I'm holding it against him. But we have to take a break, Brad. You know how that is. But when we come back, we've got a little bit more time with Brad Gilmore here from Reality of Wrestling. And I know he's got a ton of stuff going on, and we got a couple more things to fire at him before we let him out of here. So stick around, everybody, here on the Mark Hoke Show on KDON 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. We're having a great time with the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. We will be right back.
If you live in Clark County, you are at risk of developing non-smoking lung cancer. Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas that gets into homes and increases one's risk of lung cancer, and it exists here in Clark County. Radon is colorless and odorless, so the only way you know if your radon level is elevated in your home or office is by testing. To get your free test kit, visit our website with a new interactive map to find a pickup location nearest you at www.extension.unr.edu/radon. 21,000 people die of lung cancer each year, and Nevadans are at a higher risk. If an elevated level of radon is found, there are ways to reduce it and lower the risk of getting lung cancer. Get your free test kit today. Visit our website with a new interactive map to find a pickup location nearest you at www.extension.unr.edu/radon. Sponsored by the University of Nevada, Reno Extension's Radon Education Program, and aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey Nevadans, prescriptions can be expensive. Let the Array RX discount card be your solution. Now available to all Nevada residents. Simply sign up for free. Show your pharmacist your digital card and save money. Receive discounts of up to 80% on certain medications. There are no age or income restrictions, and it only takes a minute to enroll, so you can get back to doing what makes you happy.
This message funded by a grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
The FBI is engaged in a nationwide effort to build public awareness of hate crimes and encourage reporting to law enforcement. Hate crimes include crimes committed on the basis of the victim's perceived or actual race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability. Hate crimes are not only an attack on the victim, they are meant to threaten and intimidate an entire community. If you believe you are a victim or or a witness of a hate crime, we encourage you to report it to the FBI by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. You may remain anonymous. Again, report suspected hate crimes by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. The FBI works to protect all victims of crimes, regardless of their country of national origin or immigration status. The FBI encourages victims and witnesses of any hate-related incident to report it to law enforcement. This message sponsored by the FBI Las Vegas Division, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
It's not too late to protect yourself and your family from the flu. According to the latest report from the CDC, Clark County has witnessed over 244 influenza-related hospitalizations and 9 flu-related deaths. Meanwhile, Washoe County is seeing an average of 30 new cases reported per day. Be safe. Get your flu shot today. Contact your healthcare provider to learn more or visit immunizenevada.org. This message sponsored by Immunize Nevada, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
Ready for your next vacation? Not so fast. Before you hit the road, remember these healthy habits to keep yourself and others safe and sanitary. Wash your hands after using the restroom, before eating and after blowing your nose. Sanitize airplane seats and tray tables. Sneeze or cough into a tissue or your elbow. And avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth with unwashed hands. Lastly, make sure you're up to date on all your routine vaccines, including the COVID-19 vaccine. It's also important to get tested when necessary, such as if you develop COVID-19 symptoms before, during, or after travel, if you'll be traveling to visit someone who is at a higher risk of getting very sick from COVID-19, or if you're in a situation with a greater risk of exposure during travel. Pack these tips on your next adventure. And remember, travel safely, Nevadans. This message is sponsored by a CDC grant through the Nevada Department of Health and Human Services, aired in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
1015 FM KDON. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, all you kids out there, we got the final segment of the Mark Hoke Show coming up to you on KDON 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. And I got to give a shout out to the best photographer in pro wrestling, Scoop's out there listening to us on the chat box. I want to say hi to Scoop. Brad, you guys, I don't know if you've ever had Scoop down doing one of your events in Texas, but you should hire him. He is simply the best, period.
Simply the best.
He is. Well, getting a little singing in.
What a great song.
Yeah, pretty good. Tina Turner. She's
Yeah,
the one she's the one that sang that, by the way.
Tina Turner did sing that song. Yes.
Yeah, not you.
No, I
got you.
You
Anyway,
did.
yeah, but well, hey, by the way, you have a band, right?
Yes, I do. You know what? I do. It's called the name of the band is 2011, the 2 words. And I wanted to bring it up on the show because we've been together since 2006 maybe. But we took a long hiatus, and this last September we put out our first album in a decade. And here's what this is why I think the wrestling people will like it, and I'll tell you why. Because wrestling has always informed every aspect of my life, even in music. I mean, even back in the day, we had a song called "Lost My Smile," and it came from the Shawn Michaels promo, right? Like I've always had influences of pro wrestling in the music. And we were putting this album together, and it's called Happiness, Etc. And that's the name of the album. And we were trying to think about, like, how can we make this concept and all the songs go together? And then we're like, maybe we should have somebody narrate the album. And then we're like, well, who can narrate the album? And I was like, who is somebody I know who's been through the life stages, who's been in the lowest you can go and the highest you can go and everywhere in between, who would bring that gravitas to the project? And there was one name that came to mind, my broadcast partner there, Booker T. And I called Booker and I said, hey, Book, we're doing this album. Would you narrate the album? And he said, yes. So you can go hear that right now. It's called Happiness, Sadness, Etc. by 2011 with Booker T is on several of the songs narrating the album and the story and the narrative of the album. So I just want to shout out. And there's something on there for everybody. It's hip hop, it's R&B, it's a little rock influence. There's some country ballad vibes. There's even spoken word poetry on the album. Like, it's all over the place. And I just think if you give it a listen, you'll find a record that you like.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out. Send me a link.
Well, because that's how I got into pro wrestling. I got into pro wrestling from music. I mean, I was this huge hip hop head that was hosting a radio show in Houston about hip hop. And then, I saw a tweet one day that said, looking for an announcer for my wrestling company, send in your resume. And because I had a little radio background, they gave me a shot at Reality of Wrestling, and the rest is history.
Well, that is awesome. Very
Mhm.
good story, Brad. Nice
Hey
job.
man. Hey man. So yeah, definitely check that out. Check that out.
I definitely will. Everybody out there, make sure you check it out. 2011, you said, correct?
2011, Happiness, Sadness, Etc. is the name of the album.
Very nice. Well, you've also got you got the collection with Brad Gilmore podcast too, right?
Yeah, man. I really want people to check this out because, again, you and I, Mark, know each other through wrestling. And a lot of people know me through wrestling, but my interests are so varied. I mean, I've written books about Back to the Future and James Bond. I love, entertainment of all aspects, and I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody. And what I started to get to do when you have a platform like you do or I do, you get sometimes offers of like, hey, do you want this such and such on your radio show? Or do you want such and such on your television segment that I host here in Houston on the CW39? And over the last couple of years, I've done a couple of hundred interviews with names that everybody would know, whether it's Mark Wahlberg, Jimmy Fallon, Jay Leno, Matthew McConaughey, Kelly Ripa, Malcolm McDowell, Hilary Swank recently was on the show. And Dr. Phil, Bill Maher, even Eric Roberts, Cedric the Entertainer, Darren Aronofsky, who directed The Wrestler. I've had all these conversations, and I wanted to put them in one central place to where people could have them because, some people collect stamps and what, flags or shot glasses or whatever. People have weird collections, right? My collections are conversations. That's what I collect. And that's what the Collection Podcast is. So you can go on there and find, like I said, I think we're getting close to 300 interviews. I've already done 35 this year. And you'll hear from everybody, and you'll find something that you like. And I'll always find a way to weave pro wrestling into it if I can, or some Back to the Future talk if I can as well.
Very nice. Well, Brad, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And of course, you can find Brad on X at Brad Gilmore. And of course, realityofwrestling.com. Just get on over there. And if you haven't seen any reality wrestling shows, that's where to check them out if you're not in the Houston, Texas area. Brad, thank you again. And I will get in touch and get this thing set up when you're coming into Las Vegas, my friend.
Yes, we will do it, Mark. Thanks for having me, and good to see you as always.
Absolutely. Brad Gilmore, everybody. And thank you for everybody for joining us on the Mark Hoke Show. Guys, we will see you next week. Follow us on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show. It's pretty simple, kids. The Mark Hoke Show. Just look us up and find us all on our social media platforms and website. We'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great day, Las Vegas. Be safe out there on St. Patrick's Day. We'll see you next week. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit markhokeshow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
Mike DiGregorio at America